Hi FS1 parents, I am Miss Hannah from FS1 Blue Class, and we recently had a survey that was asking some of you at home what it is that you need support with your FS1 children. And one of the things that we found that parents really wanted more information on was some reading tips. So we have come up with all of the things that we do inside the classroom and just some advice that we thought maybe you can take on board for really encouraging the children to enjoy reading, finding different stories, and just how you can contribute at home. So I wanted to start with just saying why it is so important for the children to be reading every day. So we do send home library books once a week for all of the children. And as we move into term 3, the children will start to receive purple Biff and Chip books. So these are from the Oxford Reading Tree. And what we would like parents to do is start reading every single day with the children. The reasons for that being is it creates their curiosity, it stimulates their imagination, which is so good for their role play. It helps them to develop other skills such as empathy, problem solving, and morality. Enjoying the books and reading the stories from a very early age is crucial in the development of a child, and reading helps them to see and imagine things beyond what you think they might know. So, for example, if you're reading these imaginary stories such as Julia Donaldson, where there's lots of different characters in different settings, then the children are able to imagine these settings and recall them when later they're playing in the role play or coming up with stories by themselves. So phase 1 phonics is what we really focus on in FS1. And I just wanted to quickly go through the different aspects with you before we move on to the reading tips. And this is because when you are reading, a lot of these aspects come into place. So say, for example, if you're opening up a story and it's a setting outside, you can say to the children, what sounds can you hear? Now, that links into environmental sounds because every day we are listening to sounds that we hear outside, indoors, people talking, the air conditioning. And if children are exposed to these sounds all of the time and discussing them, when they look at a story, they're able to then repeat that and mimic some of these experiences that they've had. We also really look at instrumental sounds, body percussion. We become familiar with rhyme, rhythm, and alliteration. And we use sound to talk and segment words into phonemes. So we have started our robot talk at the moment, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard with our online learning in the first week back of term 2. But it really is just breaking down the words so that when the children go into FS2, they're ready to start reading. Again, with the instrumental and the body percussion, when you do start reading these Biff and Chip books, you'll notice that the characters are doing a lot of the pictures will show a lot of these things. So they might be banging on pots and pans in the kitchen. And it's so that the children are able to describe what they can see and what they think they would be able to hear. So I found this quote, which we love to talk about, we love to use in FS1. And it's, if a child knows 8 nursery rhymes by heart by the time they are 4 years old, they are usually among the best readers and spellers in their class by the time they are 8. So I really, really try and focus on rhyme with FS1. It is so important. It helps children, as it says here, to become the best readers and the best spellers. And that's because with rhyme, it's a lot of repetition. They learn new vocabulary and it really helps the memory. So some tips that I have for reading at home is tip number 1, to create a cozy corner. So the more inviting it is for the children, the more they are going to want to go over and read a story, sit with you, or just have a look at the pictures. So if you can find somewhere in your house where you can put some books, put some cushions, make a little den for them in the bedroom, or even just a nice little area next to the sofa, the children can decorate it with their favorite books and soft toys, and it will just make them more excited to read. Tip number 2 is to begin building your child with their reading into everyday routines. So it doesn't matter whether it's at bedtime or whether it's when they get home from school or even after dinner time. A lot of children differ on when they want to have that downtime. But if you encourage to have reading time at least once a day, it becomes part of their routine, and then it becomes an expectation that they're used to. You can encourage your child to track their reading by making a chart at home. They can collect stickers or they can put ticks, but then they know that they're reading every day, and they will look forward to that, whether it's 5 minutes or 15 minutes, but just a tiny slot a day. Tip number 3 is really following their interests. So the books don't need to be what you've chosen. You can make it exciting by going to the bookshop and letting the children pick what it is that they're fascinated by, what they want to learn about. They can pick the same genre over and over again. So if princesses or superheroes, it doesn't matter that they're not, broadening the storytelling. It's as long as they're getting that reading every single day, it shows that they're interested, and it will keep them engaged if you allow it to be the book of their choice. I also found another quote from World Nursery Rhyme Week, which linked into, again, the nursery rhymes importance that I was explaining about before. And it says that singing nursery rhymes can help children to develop emergent literacy skills. Many nursery rhymes are repetitive, which can support the development of memory and kickstart the practice of listening and speaking skills. So for me, what we do in FS1 is we have one nursery rhyme a week. And that's so that the children have every single day to really learn the words. So it can be on your journey to school in the morning, and when you pick them up, or even before you have dinner time or during bath time. But if you sing the same nursery rhyme every single day, your child is much more likely to learn those exact lyrics to the nursery rhyme. Tip number 4 is looking in detail at the words. So as part of the curriculum, we teach the children about the 5 key concepts of print. So the first one is that print has meaning, that print can have different purposes. So for example, looking on Google might be information, and then you can find a fiction book, which is a fairy tale. We read English from left to right and top to bottom. So what the teachers like to do is always follow the finger. That's so that the children can see the flow in that you're reading. And of course, if you're reading Arabic, you can do it the way that you would read. We look at the names of the different parts of the books and the page sequencing. So when you are reading with the children, you can let the children take control. So if they want to stop whilst you're reading, if they want to interrupt you, please let them discuss what it is that they're interested about on that specific page. Show the children where the text is, talk about the author, the illustrator, maybe read the blurb on the back first, and you can even talk about the title. What do they think that the story is going to be about? Tip number 5 is to use technology. So I know that we're always coming and ahhing whether, how much is enough technology and how much is too little. But the National Literacy Trust research found that when used appropriately with an adult, technology can improve an important route in reading for many children. So some of the ideas that I found for including technology in your home is looking for pictures from when you went out last weekend or from the winter holidays and discussing with the children, what did we do? Tell a story about these photos. You can video call friends and relatives to engage the children in as much conversation as possible. You can use YouTube to find nursery rhymes and lyrics, and you can use apps to find to read ebooks online or listen to audiobooks. Tip number 6 was to encourage your child to be the author. So I know we do a lot of this in school, and you may not find the opportunities at home, but they're always there. So it can be sat around the dinner table, and you can just show the children a picture of one thing and ask them, make up a story about this. They love to hear stories about your past, your childhood, and your experiences. So it gives them that inspiration to talk about their own experiences. And we like to use a lot of open-ended questions. So if you're asking them about their day in school, saying, "What did you do in school today?" is very difficult for FS1 children to recall the exact things that they have done. However, if you ask more specific questions like, "Can you tell me who made you happy today?" They'll be able to say a name. Why did that person make you happy? And then the children will be able to tell you a story from that. It can even be something like, "What did you do that made yourself happy today?" So if you're asking questions like this with the children, it will really help them to recall stories and be able to tell you something. Tip number 7 is to explore sounds and words. So as I explained before, the children will start receiving the purple band books in term 3, and questioning is really key when they receive these books. So what you'll see is these 3 characters with the mum and the dad and the dog in all of the pages. And for you, it's the parents' responsibility to really engage the children into that story, ask them so many questions. Where are they going? What do you think they're going to do today? Tell me how the different characters feel. Then with that, you can also create CVC words from all of the Biff and Chip books. So just by looking at that picture, I can see b-a-g, bag. So you can create these words for the children to segment and blend and begin that robot talk at home. So I had a video here, but I'm not sure if I can click on it. But this, again, was just an example of Mila, a little girl who used to be in my class, and how she started to blend and segment all of the different words from the Biff and Chip books. So what we used to do is select the images that we found in the books. And this, again, is something that you could do at home. And I would just show her the picture, and then she was able to orally segment it and then blend it back together. Now, reading requires 2 skills, so phonics and word recognition. So that is why I wanted to start off with all of the information today on how important it is to be implementing the phonics every single day with the children, listening to environmental sounds, talking about body percussion, breaking down words, listening to initial sounds. Because once the children do start to read, when they progress into FS2 and moving on into primary, if they understand all of these sounds and all of the aspects from phase 1 phonics, then they do find it a lot easier, and they are able to decode words and the understanding and the meaning of words to put together, and the ability to understand the ideas, information, and themes in text. So again, that's why we like a lot of role play, talking about your past, talking about pictures that you've experienced, is so that the children can add information just to one photo and make up a story from that. So just a summary of ways to reinforce phonics learning at home. 1, team up with your teacher. Ask how you can highlight phonics and reading outside the class. All of the teachers know, every single child that is in their class, they know exactly what their interests are, exactly what their dislikes are. So I am sure if you went to your teacher, you can organize a Zoom, you can just drop a seesaw, they'll be able to write you a list of different ideas that you can do at home. Listen to your child reading daily. So please, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to be reading every single day, 5 minutes or 15 minutes, just getting in that talk time at home, getting in that imaginary and creativity. 3, boosting comprehension. So again, finding books of their interest, talking about the pictures. It doesn't always have to be words. It can just be talk, talk, talk. Number 4 is to revisit familiar books. So especially with famous authors like Eric Carle and Julia Donaldson. These are fantastic authors where rhyme and alliteration comes in a lot with many of their stories. And so if the children are learning the sequence of these, it's easier for them to understand the rhythm. Number 5 is to always read aloud. So you and your child speak up as much as possible, get that confidence going. And 6 is to spread the joy. So we love reading so much, and we just really want you all to have that love at home for it too. So that was all of the tips for FS1 readers at home. I hope you found some of it useful today, but if you have any questions, please feel free to drop by or drop me a message for a Zoom call, or just ask your class teacher if there's any tips that you can have for your specific child at home. And we look forward to hearing you, and we look forward to hopefully seeing all of the children taking part in Extreme Readers this week. Thank you so much for joining today. Bye.